Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Canary Conversations with me, your host, Dominique Remy. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by a couple of, I guess we can say, virtual friends at this point. um, we've known each other for, I want to say, close to 2 years, and we've connected through, similar political circles. And when the announcement that Glam, also known as Candace, was expecting, I was like, yes, I absolutely want to have this perspective on this show. So I just wanted to introduce our guests, Mark and Candace. How are you all today?
It's doing okay.
Alrighty. So I know that you are coming towards the end of
35 weeks.
But I just wanted to ask you, lovely. Yes, so 3 people are making an appearance today.
Technically, at this point, yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, how was your process throughout, finding out to, I guess, a couple minutes before hopping on with me? Not that detailed, though.
Finding out was scary. I had just gotten out of the hospital. I was in the hospital because of bipolar disorder, and I was struggling. So I found out literally less than a month after I was discharged that I was pregnant. So the big thing was knowing I'd have to get off of my meds, worrying about dealing with mental health. Since I had just gone through a crisis, I didn't want to have to go through another one. So that was a big, scary thing for me. But it's been okay dealing with it. I found things that I can take being pregnant, but that was initially the scariest thing. And like, how are we going to pay for this baby?
Yeah. And we figure that out as we go, but that was definitely, I'm very financially focused. So that was my scariest part, was like, oh shit, where are we going to get the money for this?
Yeah.
Oh, am I allowed to swear?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. It's like,
yeah.
it's built into my language. So, but yeah, it was definitely very scary. We really had to consider everything before we decided that we were just like, yes, we're going to go through with this. We're going to see it to the end, and we're going to finally have a kid. It was really strange because we had thought, we've been together for
13 years.
I think 14.
Almost 14, yeah.
Yeah. And we not exactly careful. So we had gotten used to the idea that, well, one of us has something that
just maybe we couldn't have kids. So it was a big surprise when it finally happened.
Yeah. Yeah, we had accepted it
pretty
much, and it was just a complete and utter shock. But
yeah,
we took into account her mental health, our physical health, what we have available to us, what our plans are in the future. And we just decided, you know what, let's make this happen. We've always wanted to be parents from the beginning. We just never knew when a better scenario was to have that happen.
Yeah.
So it's just, life chose for us. And we chose to bring a kid into this world during a pandemic. So.
Yeah, which is horrifying.
That's like actually my next question. And congratulations.
Thank you.
I did want to follow up though, with regards to the mental health aspect of it. How have you gone through that process of weaning off the medication? Like, how does that look for you? Have you worked with a professional? And I know there is instances of prepartum depression as well. So how does all of that factor into this process as you get ready to deliver?
Well, what was scary is I didn't get to actually wean off my meds. I had to stop taking them all at once. And as I was stopping my meds, COVID really started happening. And I know that I kind of spiraled into a depression. So it was with not being on my meds, dealing with the quarantine, and I guess just general pregnancy hormones.
And life in
And
general.
life in general. So I dealt with a really bad depression near the beginning of my pregnancy. But I was working with a doctor, and I managed to get on medication that is safe for pregnancy, and I feel like I've been better since. But it was definitely very taxing on my mental health. It was really hard. Yeah, but I managed to get through it. So.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Solidarity. I know that a lot of people have been going through it,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's more exacerbated if you do have mental health
Right.
illness. But that is just like a 7-layer
Yeah.
dip that you just described to me.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it was such a hard decision to
was.
just be like, we're gonna do this. Because we made the decision and then COVID
Yeah,
happened.
COVID wasn't as, I don't want to say as bad, because it was bad, but it wasn't as serious as it was when we found out I was pregnant. And then maybe like 2 weeks later,
we kind of like reevaluated
Right.
at that point. We're like, are we sure about this?
But we
And
were
like,
already like, yeah, we're gonna.
all right. We made the decision. We're
Right.
stubborn as hell.
Yeah.
Screw it.
So, but it was definitely hard. It was hard. It was hard. So.
Yeah. And it's definitely caused a lot of problems, but you probably have that in your next question.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. So I know you two are located in Flint, and how has the pandemic been where you're at? And I guess you touched a little bit about like how's being pregnant during COVID, but you can expand even more so.
As far as like pregnancy wise goes and dealing with COVID, I kind of feel like a lot of the pregnancy experiences are being taken from me. Like Mark hasn't been to an ultrasound yet because he can't go. He hasn't been to any of my doctor's appointments. I've been to the hospital 3 times for 3 different things. And he wasn't able to go and support me because he had to wait in the waiting room because of COVID. So it's it sucks. It's also extra scary because, pregnant women are a little bit more susceptible to getting sick. So that's because I'm a nurse, I work with the general public. So, that's scary too. It's just not been great. Any woman that's pregnant during COVID, I feel sorry for them because it's not a normal experience,
It's really wild too, because we had some friends that got pregnant around the same time. I'm trying to look it up right now, but I think Genesee County, where we're in, is one of I think it's the 3rd or 4th most in the state of Michigan for cases and deaths.
Yeah, we have a lot of cases and deaths in this particular area, so it's really scary. So I've been lucky though because I haven't gotten sick. I do know people who've gotten sick, but I've been lucky. I think we've been pretty lucky.
Yeah.
So.
And have
right
you
at the beginning,
been back to work?
Yeah, I've been working through I was quarantined for 2 weeks because one of my coworkers got COVID. So I was off work for only 2 weeks, but I've worked throughout the whole pandemic. Yeah.
And same here.
Yeah, we both worked throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's scary.
And now I do COVID screening at my current job. So it's like I have more possible contact.
Yeah.
So it's been just added on to already the very difficult decision to have a child and the normal fears that come with that.
Then you have to worry about a pandemic on top of everything else.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm on really good anxiety meds, so and we have legal weed here, so
that is good to be thinking that far ahead and making sure there's self-care built into
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know where I would be at if we didn't have some of those things available to us. um, it's, because we both have a history of mental illness. I get, I'm not bipolar, but I do get depression and anxiety. I've been diagnosed with, and treating that is always a struggle, especially with anxiety. You have to find the right type of med that doesn't make you completely zonked out, make you super sleepy, make you unable to function, as a normal person. Um, just something to kind of level you out. You have to kind of do a lot of trial and error.
Right.
So um, it's been a process.
Oh. Throughout this process, how have you, Candice, been feeling supported by like medical professionals? I know you mentioned.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I have my OBGYN is not good. But just starting off from the whole beginning, when I first got pregnant, I was going to go to the doctor that my primary care physician recommended. But they didn't want to take me on because of my history with my antipsychotic meds, and my blood pressure was a little high, which is not now, it just was then. So they actually refused to take me on. So
saying you were high risk,
saying that I could be a high risk pregnancy, which I'm not. And it was difficult to find somebody to take me on. And when I did, I just kind of clung to whoever the first person was that accepted me. And I wish that I hadn't, because she's not been a good doctor. She doesn't take a lot of my concerns very seriously. And I wonder a lot of times, is it because of my race? I've been to the ER 3 times. And 2 of those times I felt like my concerns weren't serious. And again, I wonder, like, is it because I'm a Black woman? Because I have had experiences, before, even before I got pregnant, where my concerns weren't taken seriously and I was turned away and I was really sick. So, yeah, it's just, I don't feel supported at all. I don't know if I told Mark or my friend, like, I don't even know if I trust her to, like, deliver my baby, but she's my OBGYN,
So, it's too late at this point.
Yeah, it's too late at this point. I can't find anybody else because I'm so far along. So it's just, it's a real scary situation.
Although she has been better.
She's been better because Mark literally had to call
and basically chew out her secretary, threaten a lawsuit.
Yeah.
That was the only, because I was really worried. One of the reasons she went to the hospital was because of her heart. A doctor at a urgent care said that she was having an irregular heartbeat. And, I hear that, and anyone hears that, you're like, holy shit, that's a really bad thing. Yeah. But went to the hospital, they didn't even check her heart. And then she went to the doctor the same week, and they didn't check it at all either. And
the whole time I was still having symptoms, and of feeling just terrible. So
we come to find out that she was being too stressed out at work, like, because they put her on a heart monitor for 2 weeks.
After he called and cussed them out.
Yeah. Put her on a heart monitor with a cardiologist. And during that time, they noticed that whenever she started feeling like sick or dizzy or anything like that, it's when her heart rate was really high.
Up in the 150s, at work.
Yeah. So now we're thinking that we literally just found that out
yesterday. Yeah.
And now we're thinking that they're going to take her off of work, which, it creates problems financially, but I'd much rather she be taken care of physically. Like, we'll worry about everything else. She gets maternity leave, which is nice. Not a lot of people get that.
Short-term disability. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How long is the maternity leave?
If you have a vaginal birth, it's 6 weeks. If you have a C-section, it's 8 weeks. So it's not very long. But I also have FMLA, which if they take me off early, it's going to eat into that. So I won't have as much time at home with the baby, which sucks. But it is what it is, That we don't get enough maternity leave in Michigan. It's not enough time at all.
It's not I don't think it's a statewide thing that employers have to offer it.
Yeah, they don't. GM only gives you 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. in the film, we are, you know, talking to people about like family leave legislation, and like, you know, looking at like one of the reasons why the United States has a really high rate of mortality
Yeah.
is because like out of all of the industrialized nations, they do not offer like any kind of mandated um, family leave. It's like kind of just up to, like you said, the state, or even at a micro level, the company you work for,
Right.
like the place you work for, which is really
Outrageous.
outrage, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the word, and completely untenable, and it's like and you wonder why, you know, people have adverse reactions, because
Right.
whether or not you're high risk, it's called labor for a
Yeah,
reason.
for a
It's
reason, because it's
really
hard.
taxing on your body. So you could be like this fit, like yogi guru that can just like pop one out, or like someone who is high risk, you know, have even more of a high risk with like an underlying
Right.
disease.
Right.
Still, people need to rest.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
And six
plus,
weeks doesn't even sound and like hardly enough for someone to get over the flu. I mean, for COVID, for sure. Anecdotally, this is not, I'm not positing that this is science, but anecdotally, in my experience, I what unfortunately did get COVID in April. It took me about the middle of May
Wow.
to feel good.
Wow.
Good. Yeah. So like 6 weeks
Yeah. That's
for
not
childbirth. That's so yikes.
like on
It's not
average,
professional, but
still have like vaginal bleeding up to 45 days after you give birth, you know,
yeah.
and then yeah, you have to go back to work in 6 weeks. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
and that's
You
on
know,
top of, you know, having a
having a
baby.
baby, like you want to bond with your baby, and 6 weeks after, that's if you get 6 weeks after birth, if you work up until the day that you have your child. If you get taken off, or like if you choose to take off early for maternity leave, that's when the 6 weeks starts. So luckily for me, I have a FMLA at my job, which is they give you up to 12 weeks to leave. So I'm going to use that if they take me off for my cardiac issues, and then I'll start maternity leave once I have him. So not everybody has that option. You have to be at a job, I think, for a year before you get FMLA, and not everybody can afford it. But thank God I have short-term disability. Some people don't have that.
Could you
So
explain what FMLA is for those who might not
yeah,
know?
FMLA is the Family Medical Leave Act. Employers in the state of, I think Michigan, I don't think everybody has it. They have to offer it if you're a full-time employee. They give you up to 12 weeks of leave without risk of losing your job. But there's only certain things you can take it for, like being hospitalized for something, the birth of a child, adopting a child, or a death or something like that. So it's just a guarantee that you can keep your job for 12 weeks for some kind of leave, be it a medical or some kind of family emergency leave. But I think it's FMLA is just a Michigan thing.
It looks like it's federal.
Oh, it's federal. Oops, sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, Department of Labor.
So I qualify for that because I've been with my job for almost 4 years now. So they have to offer it though if you've been there for over a year and you're a full-time employee. Like they have to offer it to you.
I don't get anything.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Wow. That's.
But it's unpaid. You have to have some kind of other supplemental income because they're not going to pay you for it. They just guarantee.
There's always a catch.
Yeah.
There's always a catch.
Yeah.
Wow. I am just speaking with you for just a little bit, like, you know, a couple of, well, not a couple of minutes, like close to 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes. And I'm like, for you.
Right.
So I just want to say, however way you're managing it, and, you know, like we were talking about self-care, please continue to center
Absolutely.
that, because it is just so wild, the gaps in healthcare that shows up. It's not just like, oh, I have to go in for a routine check. It needs to actually be more holistic, where your husband doesn't have to call in to remind medical professionals to do a medical thing.
Right, absolutely. Right. And that was scary, because if he hadn't have called, we wouldn't know that I had this terrible irregular heartbeat, that's causing my heart to go crazy while I'm at work and stressed out. Like, we would have known, and what would have been the consequences if we've never figured that out and I continued to work, so that's really scary that a doctor, an OBGYN, didn't consider that when I first brought that complaint to her. Mm-hmm. So that's, that's kind of frustrating.
Let alone the doctors in the ER.
Oh, yeah, and the doctors in the ER. They were, and I think, again, it's because I'm Black and I'm heavier. They were concerned about preeclampsia, which is not something I have. And once they found out I didn't have preeclampsia, they're like, okay, you're good. But I'm like, but what about the actual issue I came in for? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not, it wasn't preeclampsia. Like, my blood pressure was good, but that's what their main focus was like, oh, you must have preeclampsia. And I didn't. And when they found out I didn't, they discharged me immediately and didn't even take care of my my concerns. So
meanwhile, I'm out in the waiting room. I can't even contact her. We've spent most of the time separate trying to get the Wi-Fi in the hospital.
Yeah, because they didn't have good service.
We could barely talk to each other. Because of COVID.
So that's right, because I couldn't have an advocate for me. Like, I tried to advocate for myself, but sometimes you need another person, and I don't have that because of COVID, so it just sucks. It's scary. So
speaking of advocates, like I said off camera earlier, I have been, speaking with a lot of nurse midwives, and some OBGYNs who are actually very open to nurse midwives, and doulas who are birthing coaches and advocates for you. I was wondering, do you have that in your process at all?
No, and I would love to have a doula, but again, because of COVID, I only can have one person in the hospital room with me, and it's Mark. So I decided to not even go that route, because I couldn't have that support person there with me. And it, again, like, that's why I feel like I'm being robbed from, pregnancy experiences, because I wouldn't even be able to have that person, so it didn't make sense to even do it, but I would have liked to, for sure. So that sucks.
Yeah. It sounds like it's been a lot, and COVID, the author Arundhati Roy said the pandemic serves as a portal, because it just like opened up a lot of things that made that was kind of like together prior to, but kind of like now that there's a pandemic, things are falling apart. Like, even really basic things like testing can't even be done in a scalable fashion. So yeah, it definitely seems like COVID has definitely impacted and compounded a lot of the issues that would have gone with being pregnant had there not been a pandemic. Right,
absolutely. I think it would have been a completely different experience if COVID wasn't a thing. It would have been more enjoyable. It just would have been a completely different experience. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, we've had to do things like completely disinfect things before we bring them in the house. Mm-hmm. We've gotten some hand-me-down stuff. A lot of people were really nice with that, but we have to disinfect it, leave it outside overnight.
We bring it back in and disinfect it
again.
Take everything off, which, I mean, you should be washing your things too, but I feel like
we have to go the extra mile.
Yeah, it was more, you put more like effort and labor into it, because you're like, oh my God, this came from someone's house, and what if they had COVID? So you're doing a lot more,
Yeah, and our baby shower was
a drive-by baby shower. Yeah,
and most people didn't even do that. They sent
gifts in the mail,
right? Which
we still
Thank you, but
appreciate, but it's not a traditional baby, it's not a traditional baby shower. So,
yeah, we wanted to spend time with people, and
right.
we spent time with my family, and that was it. None of her family were able to show up because they live out of state, but you know, it it's just a very not normal experience that
Right.
we've had throughout all this. My both my sister-in-laws um, have had kids since we've been together, and their experience, like watching what they went through, was like, well, Sarah
Watching
had a
what one
really
of them,
bad
yeah, watching
experience.
what one of them went through.
Yeah, yeah, because the one had a preemie, so that's a whole other set of problems. But like my one sister-in-law, she got the completely traditional experience. It was, the baby shower where everybody can show up. We did all the parties. We
People saw her after she had the baby. Like, I don't even know if that's going to be a thing. Like, I don't know if I'll be wanting people in the house to meet the baby.
Yeah, we all were able to be at the hospital
Right.
waiting for her when she was having the baby. And then with this, it's going to be um, her parents are going to be here watching our dog. Both of us are going to be stuck in the hospital. You're not allowed to leave.
Yeah, once he goes to the hospital, he can't even go get food or anything. He's stuck. He has to stay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I have to pack a bag too. So I'm going to be in there for like a day and a half
Yeah,
or
a day and a
something
half
like
or
that.
something, however long it takes.
So it's not the normal thing at all, and it just you're right that it's exposed a lot about our system, but it's exposing that which is wrong with our system on top of um just having to deal with the precautions because of the thing in the first
Right.
place. And it's insane. Like I'm scared every day that I'm gonna give it to her. And then,
I'm scared
yeah,
every day I'm going to get it because I work with so many people,
yeah,
who don't want to wear their masks, right, or whatever other issues they're having. So, yeah.
Wow. You did mention the baby shower. I wanted to know if there was any little bright spot, as unconventional as it may be, that you guys have
I mean,
had an experience.
it was a fun experience. We did it like at our house, and we all sat on the porch outside. I got to really talk to his sister-in-laws about their pregnancy experience, and that was very enlightening. Um, and the few people that showed up, like, it was nice to have them show up and hang out. It was fun, but it just wasn't a traditional baby shower. You play baby shower games and you do all that stuff. It wasn't like that, but it was still a fun experience. I would do it again.
yeah.
Yeah. I wish that more people wouldn't have been so cautious and more people would have come, but
Yeah.
I do understand. I
Yeah.
understand why people didn't come.
Yeah.
So
Uh, I do know you two both stream. I think Mark does more so than
I
you.
haven't streamed in a while.
Right.
So
Yeah. But how how has the baby been enjoying the streaming and that aspect of the household? Will the baby be streaming?
yeah, I told Mark, like, if I'm home with the baby all day and he gets home and he wants to stream, he better take the baby with him.
Yeah. I said I would.
So
Which is gonna get interesting, but we'll get people. I'm sure people will be very interested to see.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always a baby factor.
Right.
That's why
I mean,
politicians kiss them so much.
usually the thing that people see most is our dog.
our dog Zoe, but
Oh,
now the
okay.
baby will be making an appearance. I don't mind him being on stream or anything. I'm not
Yeah,
like I don't mind.
I'm gonna have to be quieter.
Yeah, you can't yell as much, but
I've did a lot to soundproof that room just to make it so it's so dampened that it's not going to wake the baby if the baby's sleeping, because
Right.
the room is literally
they're share a wall.
Yeah.
So
I see.
that's going to be the fun part. But like we'll see how he does it. Maybe he'll just end up sleeping the whole time and it'll be secondary. But I mean, I've even talked about like setting up my phone in the baby's room when I've got to like take care of her and doing
Take care of
something like it
him. I don't know why you said her.
because of you. So I'm used to taking care of you
I'm
because
sure
of
he's
the
been
baby.
taking care of
I
me.
thought that might have been like the crossed wires, like taking care of you while taking care of the baby.
Yeah, because you know we've had to do that. She hasn't had the easiest pregnancy.
No, it's not been a fun pregnancy at all.
No,
Oh my.
it pretty much made the decision for us on whether or not we're going to have another one.
Yeah, I don't want to do this again. It's not been fun. That whole magical, wonderful pregnancy feeling that a lot of the media makes it out, it's not like that. At
No.
least it wasn't for me. And I think like I wish people would normalize that, you know, pregnancy isn't always sunshine and rainbows. That way, if a woman is having a pregnancy that's hard, she can feel okay about it instead of feeling like, whoa, why am I not enjoying this? Why isn't this great? You know, because it's hard on your body, it's taxing, you're growing a person. It's just not fun. Like I don't want to do it again. So
As an only child, I will say that we're okay.
yeah.
I have
We're
said-
good.
I have said in the past that I didn't want to. I wanted to have at least two, but like you know because you know we had three, and you deal with the middle brother syndrome. And my middle brother did that. I'm the youngest,
Mhm.
and you know so I was like, well, two seems like a good number. But after going through all this, it's just like
Yeah, I just don't want to do it.
I'm 35, and this has been kind of pretty close to a nightmare. I mean, COVID added to that.
It's COVID made it worse for sure.
But
Yeah.
you know, I just I'm like, we're good. We're good. on
Yeah, we're
this.
good on this. We don't need another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll
No,
be-
I will strongly advocate for only children out there. I think we're okay.
Yeah. I mean, people always have a dog, so at least they'll have that.
Yeah, I didn't even have that. I didn't even have that.
Oh no.
Nope.
Dog will always happen.
All right. Well, this has been really awesome. I really do appreciate how honest and open you two have been about this whole process. And thank you so much for sharing that with me and the viewers. And could you share any way that we can support you leading up to the arrival and afterwards?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a hard question. Um,
We both have PayPal's.
I mean, yeah, there's
Okay,
always,
let them know.
um,
I'll link it in the description
Okay.
box for sure.
Okay. I mean, I have it linked to my my Twitch channel. So yeah, if people want to check out my streams, I do a lot of politics, do some gaming. At twitch.tv/markmunky MarcMunky. And I try to do it right now. It's been 4 days a week, but I know it's going to decrease a lot when the baby comes.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's one way of supporting us. Otherwise, just be cool people.
just be cool. And again, I think more so that I don't really need more. I would want support, but the thing that I most want to put out there is just normalizing that pregnancy isn't what the media makes it. Because I know that a lot of women feel bad about how their bumps look, about the things that they're going through. But I think we need to normalize like what pregnancy actually is and just how not fun it could be. I don't think that will discourage women from being pregnant, but I think it will give them a better idea of what to expect. So that's really all I want from this. Just pregnancy isn't all that fun.
Yeah. Yeah. She's ready for him to be out, and I'm ready to have my wife back.
I mean, I sleep all the time. So
Oh God, yes.
probably gonna take a nap after this.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
And I'll probably go play a video game and then check on her, and yeah.
That's our life now.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for joining me. And I really do wish you two all the best and solidarity and, of course, self-care. And I hope you do get the support that you need, whether virtual, from a virtual community, or like as close as 6 distance will allow you to. And that, you know, you have a happy and healthy, well, happy
Yeah.
in relative terms, and healthy delivery.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
you.
you. All right.
Alright.
And hold on. I'm
Okay.
gonna stop this. Sorry.
It's okay.
And